Hello guys and welcome back to Code with Rashi. In the previous video we discussed about tuple in Python, and now in this video we shall discuss set. What is a set? A set is an unordered collection of objects in Python. It is similar to mathematical sets. So how do we define sets in Python? For defining a set in Python we can use the set function. So let's say we will say an empty set. Okay, this is a variable name and then we can use the set function. So this is an empty set defined here. Now if we would like to put some values here, we can simply say non-empty set, and then we can pass any iterable objects inside the set function. So what does this set function will do? It will convert this iterable object into a set. So after printing the result, we can see that we have got our first set. Let's run this program and see the output. So here we have a set here. So this was the first way of defining a set. The second way is we can define a set using the curly braces. We'll simply put the values here. Okay, and then if we run the program, then we can see that we have got the set 2. So let's run this program, and here we have the second set. So these are the two ways of defining a set. This is the first way and this is the second way. So now we will see some properties of a set. The first one is sets are unordered. So what's the meaning of this? It means that we will not have any kind of order in sets. So let's say I have defined a set here. It's containing the value 1, 12, 13, 23, 35 and 46. Okay, so now if I print the number set, I will see that we have lost the orders here. So let's execute this program, and here is the output. We have 1, 35, 12, 13. So here we are not having any kind of order, because here we have 1, 12, 13, but here it's 1, 35, 12, 13, 46, 43. Let's run it again, then we will get some different values. Okay, so this is the first property, that we never have the order in the sets. And similarly, we cannot access the elements, particular element inside set using the index number. So let's say if we will say index of 1, we will get an exception here. Set object is not subscriptable, so we cannot even access the values of a set using the index. So this was the first property of set. Now we shall look into the second property, and that is set elements are unique, duplicate elements are not allowed. So we cannot have any kind of duplicate values in sets. So in this case we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 5. So we have got 4 2 times. Now if we print the set, we will see that we won't have any kind of duplicate values here. So the output is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let's say if I put 5 3 times here, but once it will be converted to a set, the duplication of 5 will be removed and we will have only one instance of 5. So let's run this program again and see the output here. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we have no duplicates here. So this was the second property of a set. Now let's look into the third property. That is, a set itself may be modified. So it means that we can modify the set, but the elements contained in the set must be of an immutable type. So we cannot have any kind of mutable object inside the set. So let's define our test set. Type set, we can say type set, and we take some values. 1, that is an integer, then floating point number, then a string, and then we take our tuple. So we already know that tuple is not mutable, so it's an immutable object. So let's run this program. Type set. Let's comment this code first and then run this code. After running the code, we have not got any kind of exception. and this is working fine. Now let's see if we take an mutable object, and what will be the output here. So we'll say mute set is equal to, we'll take some mutable objects here. We can take list 1 2 3, and this is a mutable object. Okay, now if we run this program, we should get some kind of exception. Let's run it, and there is exception, unhashable type list. So list is a mutable object, we can change list, so we cannot have it inside the set. So this is the second property, that we cannot have mutable object inside the set. So this was the first part. Now we have the second part, that we can modify the set, that we will see later in the set functions. So these are some of the properties of set. Now see some of the other properties that we can have. Let's say we have a scenario, we have got members, and we want to find the length of the set. That is simple. We already know that. We can say length of members. So that will print the length of the set. Let's run this program and see the output. We have got 3 here. In a similar way, we want to see the membership of Y in this set. How do we do this? So this is not a set. First of all, we need to convert it into a set. Okay. So now let's run this program again. We still have the length 3, and now if we want to check the membership of Y in this set, we will simply do Y in members. What's happening here? It's checking whether the Y is available in the set or not. So after running the program, we will see that we have got true. So it means that Y is already there in the set. If we put some random value, let's say we put A, but A is not available in the set. So if we run this program, then we will get the false result, because A is not available in the members. So that is how we check the membership in the set. So now we will see how do we modify a set. We have already seen a property here that a set itself may be modified. So let's try to modify the set. Here we have got a member set, and we want to add a number. How do we do this? We'll simply say numbers set dot add, and we can put any random value. Let's say if I put 5, okay, and if I run the program, you can see it's added. Let's print the number set, and here we have, previously we did not have any kind of 5 in this set. Okay, after adding the 5, we have got the 5 here. So you might be thinking that set has ordered the list, but it's not happening. It's just a random result. Let's say if I put 22 and 35, and if we run the program again, then we will say we don't have any kind of order. 1, 35, 4, 5, 7, 6, 22, 25. So it's simply adding a new element in a random location in the set. It's not appending at the last, it's simply adding it in the random location. It could be anywhere. Let's see if I put 55, if you see 5 was placed at number 4th, but if I put 55, it would be put somewhere else. So let's run the program again, and we have got 55 on the second last spot. Okay, this was the add function. Now we'll see the pop function. How do we remove an element from this set? We can simply say pop, and that will remove any number from the set. It would simply pick a random number from this list and remove it. So if we run the program, we will see that previously we had got 1, 22, 35, 4, 25, 16, 7, and now we have got 35, 4, 7, 16, 22 and 25. The 1 is removed from here. Let's say we rerun the program, so the 1 is removed. Let's say we put 10 here, so we will see that a random number will be removed again. So let's rerun the program and see what's the output now. So this time it has removed 35. We don't have 35 in this output, so the pop function removes the random element from the set. This was the pop function. Now let's say we want to remove a specific value. Dot discard. Okay, we can use the remove function and that will remove the specific value. Let's say we don't want this 22. We can simply put the value of 22 here and run the program. So that will remove the 22 from the set. But let's see if we put some value that is not inside the set. We say 2 to 1, but this value is not inside the set. So if we run this program, then there will be an exception here because the remove function could not find 2 to 1 inside this set. To avoid this exception, we can use the other function, that is, instead of remove we can use the discard function. What will it do? It will perform the same functionality just like remove. Let's say if we remove 22 again and run the program, so 22 is removed from the set. But the only difference, if the value is not inside the set, it will not throw any kind of exception. So let's rerun the program again, then we will see that it has not thrown any exception, it's simply ignoring the value if it's not found. So these are some of the functions that we could use in the set that will actually modify the value of this set. Now we will see some kind of mathematical operation that would be performed on set. Okay, in that case, first of all we have two sets A and B and we want to perform the union between these two sets. We can achieve that thing using the OR operation. You can say A set or B set. That will perform the union operation between these two sets. And the people who don't know what is the union operation, in the union operation we have all the values from set A and all the values from set B and the common values between set A and B. Okay. So if we run the program again, then we will see that we have got 1, 2, 3 and the common value 1, 2 from set A and then the common value 3 and 4 and then the values 5 and 6 from set B. So it is performing the union operation between these two sets. This is one way of performing the union operation. But what if I want to perform a union operation between a set and a list? If I try to do this, then we will get an exception. Let's try this. A set and then I have a list that is 4, 3, 4, 5 and 6. If I perform a union operation using this OR symbol between set and a list, we will get an exception here. Okay, non-square operand type for OR between set and list. But if we use a set function, then we can easily achieve this. So instead of an OR operator, we can achieve the same result here. Let's say we say print A underscore set. A set has a function union that we can use union and the second function B underscore set. If I run the program, then you will see that the output is same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in both scenarios. But the advantage of using union function is that we can also append other iterators to perform the set operation. So let's see if I want to perform a set operation between A set and a list, then how will I achieve this? I will simply put it inside the union function. So if I run the program again, then we have got the union of these two. So what's happening here? First of all, it will take the set A and then will first of all convert this list into a set and then perform the operation between the set A and the newly converted set. Then we will have the union operation here. So this was the union operation between sets. Now we'll see one more operation, that is intersection. In the case of intersection, we can use the AND symbol. So we'll say A underscore set and B underscore set. So if we print the result, you will see that we have performed the union operation, intersection operation between these two sets. That will have the common values between these two sets. The common value is 3 and 4. So we have the output here 3 and 4. Similarly, we can achieve the same thing using the intersection function. We will say A underscore set dot intersection and B underscore set. If we run the program, then we will see that we have got the same output again, 3 and 4. So this was the intersection operation. Now we will see one more operation, and that is difference. So how do we find the difference between these two sets? We can say print A set minus operator and then B set. That will perform the difference operation between these two sets. It will fetch all the elements of A that are not in B. So if we run the program, then you will see that we have got 1 and 2. So we have got 1 and 2. So if we want to achieve the same thing using the set function, we can do this like A underscore set dot difference and then B set, and the output will be same. So these are the mathematical operations that we can perform on sets. There are a lot of other operations that we can perform. So you can simply search on Google and then you can perform those operations on the sets. Now the last thing we will see in this video is the frozen set. So what is the frozen set? A frozen set is a type of a set, but the difference is we cannot modify the value of frozen set once it's defined. So let's say we define a frozen set. Frozen set function, and then we can have values like you can say any table object 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is a frozen set. Okay, so let's print the frozen set. Here if I run the program, then we have got a frozen set here, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the difference between set and the frozen set is, once the frozen set is defined, we cannot change its value. We cannot add a new element, we cannot remove a new element. So if I will do like this, frozen set minus, I'll say pop, then this will throw an exception because we cannot remove the value from the frozen set. Similar way, I cannot add any value because this is not supported, and we cannot even remove any value. In simple sense, we cannot actually modify the frozen set. So guys, this was the set in Python. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel to support our effort, and we'll keep on adding more videos to increase your knowledge. Till then, it's okay and goodbye.